Okay, this tutorial is on how to create a video recording app. Unlike the one built into iOS, this app allows you to name the video and you're able to manage them better once you've created those videos. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. We've got an example here of my iPad screen with a record button in the middle of it. And this the front screen or the front page of the app. And I'll go ahead and show you how it works. I'm going to tap the record button. It's going to bring me to this page where I hit the plus symbol in the upper right corner. Name the video. It also puts a timestamp on there automatically. And then I just hit the record button. And then I get my scene and begin recording. I see my countdown on the right side there of the seconds I'm recording. And it is recording video and audio. I'm going to go ahead and hit the red button, stop. Bottom right corner, I'm going to tap use video. And then upper right corner, tap save. There's my Play with Kids video I just created. I'm going to tap that and then hit the play button. Begin recording. I see my countdown on the right side there of the seconds I'm recording. And it is recording video and audio. Playing back with the video I just created. I'm going to hit done. Go back again, and this time if I want to delete a video, I can do that. And that's one of the downfalls of the video on the iOS camera storage is you have to really search for the videos and then they're not named and it's hard. So this app helps manage it. So I'll go ahead and swipe the top one and delete that and hit back. And that concludes the demo for the app. Now let's go ahead and show you how to create this. So there's a Word document we're going to use. There's a link in the Word document in the repo that you downloaded to your Mac. And here it is, creating video recording managing app. There's a link here for resources on using AV video recorder, using Swift language. I am using Xcode version 6.3.2, I believe. First thing we want to do is create a brand new project and single view core data, make sure it's checked. We're going to call it My Video App. Single view. And I want to make sure it's Swift, and we'll do universal. And make sure your core data is checked because we'll use that to save the data. I'm going to save this to my desktop. Next thing we want to do is we're going to create the core data entity and attributes. And we're going to call the entity videos. And I'm going to create 3 attributes, date, stamp, link, and name. So in the app, we're going to go to this XC data model, create an entity, and we're going to call it video. So double click, type in video. And the 3 fields are date, stamp, link, and name, all string type, all lowercase. And while we're still in there, we're going to go up to create the entity for this. And so we're going to go to Editor, Menu, Create NS Managed Object Subclass. Click Next. Check mark the entity we created. If we have more in there, we would check those. We just have one. And an entity is much like a table, and the attributes is much like a field. So we're just going to create this. And it created a class with the fields, and we'll be able to call this anywhere in our project. I'm going to go back to the My Video app data model. And one thing we got to do is click on that and then go over here to the right side to show the data model inspector. And in the class, we're going to have to add in where it says product module name. We're going to have to change that to the name here of this data model, which is My Video app. And syntax is important, so make sure you spell it right. There we go. Tap return to get it. I'm going to do a Command S to save what we've done so far. Then we're going to go to Storyboard, and we're going to create, set the title to video of the storyboard, and we're going to add in some objects, and we're going to do a couple buttons, actually 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons, 2 text fields, and a navigation bar. So I'll go to the main storyboard. Let's go ahead and drag in the needed toolbar, navigation bar, right below the battery icon. Where you see the blue line in the middle, that means it's centered, and that's where you want it. And my video, I believe, is what I wanted. No, just video. So I added the navigation bar. Now I'm going to add 2 buttons, and they're bar button items is what they're actually called. There's only 2 of them that can actually be on here. This one's going to be back. This one here is going to be double tap and save for that one. Then 3, we're going to have 2 text fields. Scroll up to the top of the object scroller here. And let's see, we'll do right about 200. Center it, and then do a Command D, and that'll duplicate. And the bottom one, I want to put in some text, enter name for video. And we're going to do that. We're going to come over here and click here for the attributes inspector and go to placeholder. And as soon as folks start typing in this, the placeholder will go away, but it's in lieu of a label and it saves space. Next, we're going to add in 2 buttons for play and record. Command D to duplicate that. I'll put this play in the middle and the record to the right. And do Command S. Okay, now we're going to create some outlets and actions and some delegates. So an outlet allows us to view the data on there and also to change text of the object. Outlets creates an action of some type. We're going to do save, play, record, and back. And then delegate, the reason we need to do that is so we can hide the keyboard when we leave the field. So we're going to do 5 outlets first, the save, play, record, date, and text and name field. So I'm going to start by the top right here, and then click on your assistant editor, and we're going to get some space here in between the override and the left bracket. So control drag it, btn save, and we got one for btn back. And back we don't need. Get rid of that one. Then 2 text fields. This one here we're calling date, txt date, and then txt name for the next one. In order to use these in Swift, these have to be bound correctly first. And the reason we need to make the buttons an outlet as well as an action is we can't change the text or other attributes without it being an outlet. The title or the other attributes cannot be without the outlet being a part of the scheme. Alright, so I believe I have the save, play, record, text, date, and text name on the outlet. Then on the save actions, we're going to do save, play, record, and back. So since I'm already down here, I'll go ahead and start with, give some more space here. This time we're going to change it from outlet to action. Same name, just different connection. And sometimes you need to click away from the white object ViewController and click over here to select. Make sure we're on the right one. There we go. And we have the save button left to do. And then we have the delegate txt name. To do that one, I'm going to bring this back to the standard editor. Go to the one in question here and control drag it up to the view controller and select delegate. Done that. Now we're going to add a TableView controller to the storyboard, and then we'll need a TableView controller class, and we're going to name it Video TableView Controller, and then bind it to the TableView controller that we've added. So in order to do that, I'm going to move this over to the right a little bit and scroll to the top and select a TableView controller. And next, add a TableView controller class. Right click on the group, add files to, wrong one, new file. Make sure you select under iOS source, then Cocoa Touch class, next. And we want the correct subclass, which is UI TableView controller. And we need to name it video. You can name it whatever, but you want to make sure it makes sense to what the what it is, the function of that view is going to be. In this case, it's going to be to hold the video names. Then we just go ahead and click Next and Create. We'll click back on the main storyboard, select our new table view, make sure this is, you'll know it's selected if two ways. There's a blue tint to this view controller. Right now it's not selected, now it is selected. The other way is over here in the inspector. You'll be able to see on this tab here whether what you're selected on. Like right now, click away, nothing, click away, it has something selected. And it says here it's a UI table view controller. We're going to click on the drop down here and select the video table view controller that we created. So we've done that up through step 7. Step 8, we're going to embed a navigation controller into the table view controller. So select the table view controller, go to editor, embed in navigation controller. This is going to add a navigation piece to the app to where we can easily go back and forth between different views. Now we're going to do some more fun here with the table view controller, and we're going to put in 2 bar button items, and we're going to call the left one back and the right one identifier add. So let's scroll down to our Object Explorer and find the bar button item. The left one is going to be lesser than symbol, BACK. Right one, we're going to select it and then go over here to the Attributes Inspector and select Identifier Add. It'll change it to a plus symbol. Change the title of my video. There's nothing in here right now, but if you just double tap, you can start typing my video. Then we're going to control drag the add button to the view controller and select present modal. Present modally. Then we're going to do the same thing here, but with the detail. But before we do that, we're going to change the detail to right detail, type cell for the identifier, and then control drag detail to the view controller and select present modal. So we'll tap on the detail, custom right detail for identifier cell with a cap C. And then I like to click away right here and come back. That way I know it's selected. And you'll know it's selected by if it looks like this. If it's not selected, it's going to look like this. So again, click away, come back. There we go. Then control drag, and we want show modally or present modally. And we're going to type in, after we do present modally, we need to type in the word video, I believe it is. Yeah, we need to type in video for the identifier. And we'll go ahead and do a lowercase video, that's fine. We're going to need that to show this. When they click on a row of the video type, video name, it knows which one to go to. And they're calling this segue video, so it's identified. All right, next we're going to add in a view controller class. We're going to name it main view controller and bind it to the view controller like we did for the table view controller just earlier. So we're going to go over to the left a little bit more, not that far. And we're going to drag in a view controller to the left here. There we go. And let's go ahead and add in the correct class. Control click on your My Video folder, new file, Cocoa Touch class. This time instead of the UI Table View Controller, it's the UI View Controller. And we're calling this one Main View Controller. Just type the word main, next, and create. Then we'll go back to the main storyboard, select that new view, make sure it's selected. go to the Identity Inspector and select the new class, Main View Controller. We're going to put in here a button for right now, just so it's works and we can test it. Put it right in the middle. You see the two blue lines crossed in here. There we go. And we're going to just call it record. And we're going to take that button and drag it over to the navigation controller and do a present modal. Make sure you do it to the navigation controller instead of the table. Now we're going to add some code for the view controller and video table view controller, and then we're going to test it. So I already have the text for our code that I pulled from the app that I've created already. So we'll do view controller first. These are numbered, so we can go number by number here. Step 1, we need to bring in some import statements for video recording and playing to work. So we're going to go to the view controller and import in media player, mobile services, mobile core services, AV Foundation, core data, and core media. Next is we're going to add to the view controller UI image picker view delegate and navigation control delegate to where we can pick from an image viewer, and then also for recording, and then also the navigation controller where you can navigate back and forth between the views. So we'll go up here and just add those to the view controller, and that gives us the methods therein. Then 3, we're going to add in some variables, movie player variable for the movie player record and play, and vid link to store and save the video link once it's been recorded. We're going to run under the class to do that. Step 4, we're going to add in a variable for the contact for the database using the table view. We're going to call it VideoDB. Number 5, we're going to add in the management object data context called let manage object context. Number 6, we're going to create some come in here and bring in some code for our buttons. The first code function is for BTN record, and you just need to copy the text in between the left bracket and the right bracket of the function. And this one again is for the record. So we'll go down and find that. I'll explain this real quick. This is going to determine if the text has anything in it for the name. If it doesn't, it's going to prompt the user names required. If that's fulfilled, then it's going to go to the record video, which we've not yet put in, to record the video. Then to BTN save, we're going to create some action, the outlet action actually for the BTN save. Let's go down to that one. There's the code for that function. And this one here is basically determining if the user clicked on a row, it's not going to be null. And it's going to put in the text, the name of the video. Else, it's going to come in here and it's going to whatever's on the screen, name and also video is going to be saved. It looks like here there's an error. We'll see what that is. Probably the naming something differently than what in the steps. It says here video is the name it's looking for the context, and let me go to the, oh, that's because it's up here. We need to come up here to that video.swit file. We need to drag it in here into the My Video App folder and copy it. And then the one, there's the one we just copied. This one here, that's the one that was there originally. We're going to right click or control click and delete it and just select remove reference. Let's go see if that fixed it. Yeah. So it wasn't in the correct context. This file wasn't. That's why it did that. These other two files would be a good idea to move them down as well. Once we copy them in, we can get rid of the ones up at the top. And just make sure and just select remove reference. Not delete. Good. There we go. So we've got the save function. Now we're going to do the action for the play. We've already done the outlet for the play button. So the play button will play the video that's been clicked on. Code for the play video uses the AVI player. And it's going to basically use the vid link that we'll see where that comes from in a second, and puts it in a variable called movie URL, puts it in the movie player and allows it to play it in the sub view. Next, we're going to create an action for the back button. The outlet for text name's already been done. Text date's already been done. BTM back has not been done. So we'll copy that. And this is just going to go back to the table view. And this one here is going to determine the view did load, which loads when the app first runs here on the view anyway. It's going to check to see if a recording has been selected. So we'll copy the code here on step 11. And we'll go to the view did load, which we can go up here to determine where that's at. There we go, a little quicker. And we'll put it below the comment there. And then step 12, we're going to get the record function. I'm going to highlight everything, including the comment for this one. And this is going to record. This is the code to record launch the recorder for the video to work. And it's going to determine if the camera is available. If it's not available, in the if statement here, it's going to print out in the code saying camera's not available. Next, when the video is finished, this function here determines what you do with the video once it's finished. Let's see, put that below the did receive memory. So this one here, you'll see is did finish video with info, picking media with info. Here's where we're getting the, what I'm doing here is creating a random number. I'm taking that random number. I'm going to use it in the name of the video in a second. The next line here takes the video URL from the device and puts it into a temp file. And this is the exact URL where it's found on the device. Next line is just a file manager line to determine the file manager object. Next line determines the exact path of where that video is. And here it's looking and searching for the document directory and finding the directory document for that device, iPad or iPhone. Here I'm creating a name for the video, because the default video name is something like video.move or something each time, MOV. So it's whatever they put in the text name, which is this field here, wherever they put here. is going to be the first part. Then it's going to put in the random variable .mov. Then this line here is creating a variable for the path to write, which is a place on the documents directory for the iOS device /name. So folder structure name. This next line actually gets the data link from the video using the temp image variable here, and puts in a variable called movie data. Then I take that movie data file, or the file to write, and write it, take movie data, write to file, and write it to the iPad or iPhone. This line here gets the path of the temp image, the actual recording. Then this line here takes the video path where it's saved on the device, and this is the one we're going to use in the save function to determine the link where it's saved on the iPad or iPhone. This is just a print line function. And then this I've added, and it can be commented out if you want to. It's going to save the video to the actual camera repository where all your pictures and videos are saved. You can comment it out if you want to. And then BTN saved is now enabled. By default, it's disabled. It's now enabled to save. And then it goes back to the view. Okay, now we've got the image picker did load. Now number 14, we've got about 4 functions here to complete the recording for the movie player. So we'll copy those, bring those in, and save it, and see if we have any errors here, which we shouldn't have right now. Good. Next is, we finished the ViewController, is a video TableView controller. Step 1 on that, we're going to do some imports of media player, mobile core services, AV Foundation, core data, and Foundation again. We're going to do that on the video table ViewController. Step 2, we're going to add in some variable to hold the NS managed object. We're going to call it photo array right underneath the class. Step 3, we're going to add in a function called viewDidAppear and call a function loaddb, which is not in there yet, so we'll see an error line on that right there. And the viewDidAppear will actually appear immediately each time it comes back to the view. ViewDidLoad, by the way, is only ran once. That's why we want to do a viewDidAppear. Step 4, we're going to add in the code for the back button, which I've got to do the segue for that already. We've got to do the action for that in just a second. So let's go ahead and do that now. Go back to the main storyboard. And let's go to the assistant editor. Get some space up here for the back button. We'll do a control drag. There we go. I've still got the code in memory, so I'm going to paste that in here right now. So step 5, we're going to add that loaddb function, which is going to read the database and load it in the table. And it's using the entity video that we created to do that, fetching all the results and putting it in the array we created up here for photo array, and loading it in the database, in the table, loading the database in the table. All right, next we're going to have to change some things for return values for how many rows we want, sections we want. We want one, and we're going to change the value of 0 here to the table view to photo array.count. So this is going to be changed from 0 to 1. Here's going to be changed from return 0 to photo array.count, which is going to give you all the data row by row. This function here, number 8, we're going to determine what shows up on each row in the table. And we're doing uncomment this out. We're going to replace everything with the code we have there. That's why I had you name identifier cell. It's going to use the row here to determine what they clicked on, what row they clicked on. It's going to use in the database the name field of that record and put it on the actual row. And this function here, I'll just add to show what row you've clicked on, number 9. It's going to show up in the code down here on the bottom right. Then the editing part here, we need to uncomment out so we can delete a row. It's this part here. And then we're going to uncomment out the next function called TableView to correctly delete the right row. So uncomment that out. And just between the if statement line and this bracket here, right before the right bracket. So it's going to take whatever row they're currently on and basically delete that row in the database, as well as delete it from the table view. I'm going to do a Command S here. Then lastly, we have 11 here to uncomment the storyboard preparation for segue function here. And we're going to use this code here, this if statement line down to this line 170 to 179 here to determine a couple things that we'll go over here after I paste the code. We'll go over the lines. So this one's determining if there is a segue identifier called video, which there is. In fact, you remember this one right here, we named video all lowercase. So it's important to have the syntax of the name correct, or it won't bring data over correctly. It'll go over to that view, but the data won't be brought over. So if the segue is identifier is video, and the destination is a ViewController, which it is, then we're going to take whatever row they're currently on and take that row and plug it into a variable called selected device. And over in the ViewController, it's going to be carried over into the VideoDB variable, which is at the very top of the code, VideoDB variable. And that's what's used in this app when it first runs. It uses that VideoDB. If it's not null, it takes and puts in the text field the name of that record, the date stamp of that record. Then it also gets the link of that video from the link field in that record. And I also have a BTN save button is enabled as false initially because there's no video to, or there is a video to play, so enabled is not a video play, I'm sorry. So the video is false right now until they play. And so because this one doesn't need to record, it's already been recorded, so the enable button on the enable function of the save needs to be disabled. Record button is hidden because it's not needed. So the only one showing when there's a video that's clicked on a record is the one play. Otherwise, this else path is if they click on the plus symbol of the app here, which means a new video. It's going to go to this path and get the current date, format that date to a short time and short date format. This is just printing to the programmer to see. Plugs that date into the text date, then focuses on the text name field for the user to type in a name, hides the play button and disables the save button. All right, so let's go ahead now. With that done, I believe we're ready to test. So what I'm going to do here to test this is you do have to port it to an actual iPad or iPhone. You can't test video recording in the simulator. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to connect this to the iPad that I have here going on. First thing we want to do is tap on the main storyboard. We need to resize each one of these. So tap on and select the ViewController first. We're going to go to Editor, Resolve Auto Layout Issues, where things will be centered. And select Reset to Suggested Constraints. We're going to do that on that one, on the TableView controller, and the ViewController, the main one. Now let's bring up the iPad screen. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and tap the record button. Plus symbol. We'll name it test. Tap record. Tap the record red button for a few seconds. Tap it again to stop it. Use. Tap save. Now there's the one we just created called test. I'm going to tap on that row and let's play it. Tap the record red button for a few seconds. And that concludes how to create a video app to keep track of videos on your iPad or iPhone.